All right, guys, we have one more call-in that is called in. And again, I'm not sure if this person is friend or foe, but just in case you are foe, you will be polite to me on my stream. If you are not polite to me on my stream, you will be removed from my stream rather quickly because this is my channel and we are playing. This is my house, and you will not come in and sling shit in my house without being removed from my house. I hope you're friend. I hope you're polite. Welcome to the channel.
Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
I accept your rules, and I do have to declare I'm currently a foe.
Okay.
It surprised me that you are nominated to the governor position in New Hampshire by the LP.
Yep.
And I'm sort of I've been a long time supporter of the ideology of libertarianism, but I always believe that the party has been somewhat of a joke, with various naked people dancing on stage, with people providing weird takes on stage during debates that don't really have support in the literature. So when somebody shows up that's an outsider and becomes a nominee to a key position, I wonder, do you have the knowledge that it takes, even if you offer some kind of a political compromise, or let's use the government to reduce the government position. What do you know about libertarian values? What are libertarian values?
Well, okay. So I'm happy to answer your questions, and I'm happy to talk this through with you, and you're being polite. And so I hope we can just have like a good back and forth dialogue, because I think that the same questions you have are the same questions other people have. And I'm happy to answer them. Well, how do I pronounce your name? I want to make sure I get that first.
You can say Casimir or Kashmir, whatever is more convenient. It's a pseudonym.
Okay, Casimir. So have you been following what's been going on with the Libertarian Party in terms of the Mises Caucus takeover?
Yes, I absolutely have.
Okay, so I'm a member of the Mises Caucus. I joined the I was actually recruited by the Mises Caucus recruiters in New Hampshire because they knew what I was doing with the anti-CRT stuff. I actually worked on an anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire to try to lobby support for it, which was New Hampshire was the first state to actually introduce one of those on a statewide level, and I rallied a lot of support for it in the state. And when that happened, the Mises Caucus recruiters in the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire came and recruited me, and that was in February of 2020. I kind of like hemmed and hawed about it for a month, and I kind of thought about it because, to be quite frank, I thought that the Libertarian Party was woke. I always thought I had more libertarian principles after I left the left, but I remained an independent for all of 2020 because I basically thought that the Libertarian Party was woke. Joe Jorgensen tweeted Black Lives Matter. I didn't like that at all. And so I dismissed them as a possibility. When the Mises Caucus recruiters came and recruited me in February of 2021, they talked to me about how the Mises Caucus was different. They talked to me about the Mises Caucus platform, which I absolutely align with. I align with the private property stuff, ending the drug war, anti-war. Obviously, I'm extremely anti-identity politics. And again, this was at the same time that I was working on creating support for the anti-CRT divisive concept bill in New Hampshire. I ultimately decided that I did not like. So what happened in New Hampshire is the Republican governor and people in the Republican Party actually sabotaged and watered down the anti-CRT bill to make it much less effective than it could have been. And they did this to kiss the asses of the Democrats. And I didn't like this at all. And so when the Republicans in New Hampshire sabotaged this bill, I basically said, I want nothing to do with the Republican Party if they are not serious about fighting critical race theory. I was already iffy about them anyway. And I joined the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire and the Libertarian National Party. That was in April of 2021. I immediately got involved in the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. I joined their politics and their communications committee. I go to all their meetups. I work with them. Like, I talk to them every single day. This is a group that I actually became involved with on a political activism level and was friends with. Now, how did I get nominated for governor? I wasn't actually supposed to get nominated for governor. So we are running a candidate for Senate named Jeremy Kauffman. He is a staunch libertarian. He's a free stater in New Hampshire, and he is a very, very principled guy. He is our Senate nominee for this year, and we're putting a lot of effort and a lot of resources into helping Jeremy Kauffman campaign. What happened is we were worried that there is a member of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire that we do not like, that is not libertarian at all. He is completely woke. He is a complete pain in the ass. He was going to try to get nominated for governor. My getting nominated for governor was to block him from getting our party endorsement. My campaign for governor was not really ever meant to be something that we were putting a lot of effort and resources into, because I have a platform, I can get words out, I actually have pretty decent name recognition in New Hampshire. It was something that we didn't want this other person to be the official party nominee for governor, and so we had to put someone into that role, and I drew the short straw and I did it. Now, in terms of libertarian principles, I have a whole website about this. It's karlynlovesnewhampshire.com that lays out my explicit platform and what the platform is, and it's all surrounding defunding the schools and decoupling education from state, which is a part of the Libertarian Party platform. That is my number one position and the number one thing that I'm working on, in terms of raising awareness around cameras in classroom, defunding programs with equity in the title, fixing the anti-CRT bill that the Republicans broke, creating more homeschool opportunities in New Hampshire. I am deeply involved with the libertarian community in this state. And though I understand that people outside of this state may not understand it and they think that this is a grift and a publicity stunt, it is not. This is actually something that I do in real life. And so those, and I'm happy to answer questions that you might have, because I know I've just said a lot, but that is how I got nominated for the party for governor, is because I have gotten involved with the party. I've done a lot in the party, and they liked my messaging, they liked my platform, and we wanted to be able to give people a choice on the ballot, and that's how it worked out.
There are two problems I have. Everything I heard so far is great. The main problem I have is that I don't think you understand who's making the videos, and specifically, if you consider that video a character assassination.
Oh, I do.
Assassin? Okay, fine. So the assassin is not a conservative of the GOP.
I know.
The assassin is a real conservative that believes that that people should have consistency in the way they engage with others, and if they believe that something is evil to do to them, then it's also evil universally.
Well, that's not who's involved in that video, though. I know exactly who was involved in that video. They were all in the chat. Carrie Smith, Mike Harlow, that little horde that they all have, and they've gotten him into it because, like, it's the same talking points that I've heard from this group over and over and over and over and over again. Now, do you have a specific question about one of the specific clips? Because you said that there was stuff that you were like, so like my argument is that that the things in that video were taken out of context. Your argument is apparently that they're not. Do you have a specific question about a specific? Okay, what is your argument?
My argument is that you're stopped. You're stopped from complaining about people taking things out of context when within your own breadth of work, there are instances where you have taken other people's stuff out of context to make critical videos of them. Well, no, I don't want to get lured into specific drama, but I'm pretty sure that if that your question will be answered with another video if you really insist on it.
Answer it. I say answer it. Like, I would like to know specifically what I have taken out of context in order to assassinate someone's character, because I can point to multiple instances in that video where they took something out of context and left out a part that would have completely like disrupted the narrative they were trying to sell. I can name multiple instances in that video. So if no one can provide me with an example of where I've done the same thing, then I'm not sure I can really buy into that as
I understand that request. So your request, and I'll repeat it just so you know that I know that we both understand it. Your request is for somebody to look through your videos, specifically through the events that they know about, and compile a video where prior to the event of the character assassination by LP, you're doing the same thing to another person that's like that.
I would like an example. I would like at least one example. And if people can't provide me, and I would have a chance to respond to that example to say, no, here is the actual context of what I'm saying, and let me show you the broader context, because I think, as we've already seen in this video, I come with receipts. LP couldn't handle those receipts. Hypocrite couldn't handle those receipts, but I do actually come with receipts.
Would you be interested in talking to him on a neutral platform?
Nope. Not at all, not remotely. If he wants to come to me and not act like a coward, he is welcome to call back into the channel, and we can have a conversation in a place where I have control of the situation. But as I've said, I have no interest in being part of this little culture that you guys have. The only reason I'm doing this right now is to respond to absolute falsehoods that have been perpetrated about me, and to frankly amuse my audience, because they know what's been going on too. But I'm not going to engage with any of these people on any third-party platform, because we both know no, they're not neutral. They're your friends. And I don't particularly care to even have these conversations because I find them to be a giant waste of time. My preference would be for everyone to focus their energy far more productively on actually going after the woke left, which is what I've done, which is why I've written books about it and have podcasts about it and have channels about it and have whole volunteer communities about it, because I don't waste my time on bullshit as much as you guys do.
Right, but the problem is that the compilation, the people that are that were attacked in some of your videos were people who were neutral, potentially friendly, who were definitely not woke. And so when
we disagree.
I understand we disagree, but if there is such an evidence, okay, let's assume that the worst case scenario happens, where somebody makes a video and presents evidence that here, this is the context, here's a reference, this is the full video, here's the context, here's how the original video was edited by you or your editor to misrepresent another person. What do you believe that that there is a way to make that good in some way?
I don't edit videos. I do everything live. So I don't do what he just did and edit together a stream of clips. I've never done that. I do all of my reactions and my videos live. And so if someone wants to try to find something where they claim I'm doing that, like, best of luck to them. I don't think they're going to have much luck because I've literally never made a video like that.
That's very interesting. I will definitely find out. I do have to oppose the idea that there's nobody who's my friends among any of these people. I don't know the names you named. I'm a watcher of the LP stream, and I have a neutral opinion about him. He's not a libertarian, but the reason why I'm talking to you right now is because I don't much care the fact if you were not a Libertarian Party nominee, we would not be talking to each other. If I didn't hear about certain people getting alienated and pushed out of the Libertarian Party, not because they are woke, but on the opposite, because they are really good people who would be potentially great members in the fight against woke in schools, but they don't like the personality that's being nominated. So but maybe they're wrong. Maybe they're wrong, but that's the only reason why I'm here.
Okay, can I just respond to that though really quickly? Because I just want to respond to what you said, and then I'm totally fine with like letting you wrap up. But I want to respond to what you said about people getting pushed out of the Libertarian Party that have interests that are aligned with mine. That is not true. That has not happened in New Hampshire. We welcome even people that we dislike. We welcome them to be a part of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. We have not kicked anyone out. We have not pushed anyone out. We have not prevented anyone from coming to the convention. The fact of the matter is that, first of all, most of the people who are complaining about me being the nominee for governor in New Hampshire don't actually live in New Hampshire. And so, again, this is one of those things where most of them are not members of the Libertarian Party, and they are certainly not members of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. So I'm not sure why they are so hell-bent on who our nominee is. They don't even live in the state.
I can explain, because the message that LP said openly is that, look, this is what the lolberts are doing, meaning your reputation by being LPNH is like the flagship of the LP movement state.
It is.
Throughout the United States. And so when they make a decision, and that decision involves some degree of drama, that drama directly impacts on them. It's like saying, the dancing man on stage was not a representative of the entire Libertarian Party, and we have no reason to complain about his behavior. Well, no, that dancing person was broadcast by all the news channels, was used as a bludgeon to attack the Libertarian Party and to make a mockery out of it. So yes, your reputation is direct, and the way you engage with people is directly tied to the Libertarian Party now because of their decision.
But the people who made the decision are the people who showed up to the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire state convention in January. Anyone who is a member of the Libertarian Party could have showed up to that state convention and could have participated in the process, and maybe they would have been able to impact the outcome. But the fact of the matter is I don't understand why, like, I Hypocrite is not a libertarian. I Hypocrite does not live in New Hampshire in any way. So
Absolutely.
why is it his business what the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire is doing? If he doesn't like it, then he needs to do two things. He needs to move to New Hampshire and he needs to join the Libertarian Party, and then he needs to show up to convention. And if he wants someone else to be nominated for governor or Senate or any other position, then he should campaign for them. But there is a process of these things. And I'm sorry, but people who do not live in New Hampshire and are not members of the Libertarian Party, who are just crying on the internet because someone that they don't like got nominated for governor, it is their responsibility to go through the proper process. I do have the support of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. I have the support of the Libertarian National Party, who just gave us money to finish up our petitioning to get on the ballot. And people who aren't involved can have as many feelings about that as they want. But the fact of the matter is, I got involved with the Libertarian Party. I was part of the Mises Caucus. I'm part of the people that took it over. I was a delegate at the national convention, and people can cry all they want, but they aren't getting involved. If you want to cry on the internet, then get involved and do so. Well, they are crying though.
No, you're right. You're right. There are people that are crying, but those are not the people that are making character assassination videos. The people that are making the character assassination videos are people that are just being they just see what they believe is hypocrisy, and they're being cruel about it because that's the drama that drives their channel. And if
you're right about that. We agree on that their channels are only driven by
response. Drama. So your response, the way you respond to them, all of that is judged. If you respond,
I'm allowed to respond. I'm allowed to respond.
Absolutely.
I'm allowed to stand up for myself. I'm allowed to defend myself.
Is being evaluated, right? It's their idea is that if you respond in a way that further degrades your position, they have more material to mock you.
I mean, they're gonna take whatever I say and twist it to be the worst possible thing that they can do. I've accepted this. I've accepted this reality that I've existed in for the last year and a half, where these people will always take everything I say, twist it to mean the worst possible thing it could say, cut things out of context that contradict that, and they're gonna do whatever they want with it. I cannot worry about what other people are doing. I can only worry about myself and the type of content I want to make and what I want to do. And people can have whatever feelings they want, but if people say something to me, or excuse me, if people say something about me on the internet, I'm allowed to respond, and I will respond in the way that I see fit.
You should respond, but I do have my last question is, I do believe that if you care enough, so you can say that you don't care, and then you might brush off the person because the person is irrelevant. I understand that approach. Many people take that approach when they're criticized, and it's a fine approach if somebody is too busy to deal with some mockery from the internet. However, if you do engage with that mockery, if you make videos responding to it, if that's your kind of content, then I don't understand why you can't find an acceptable neutral platform to engage with that person, where you can't just turn them off whenever they ask an inconvenient question.
Because it's not a neutral platform. It's not a neutral platform. It is their friends that are hosting the platform. Now, I just wanted to point out explicitly, you came on this channel, you said, I'm a foe, I don't like some of the things you said. We've had a perfectly lovely, reasonable conversation. I'm holding back a lot. Well, that's fine. I'm holding back a lot too. But we are engaging as adults right now and having a perfectly lovely, reasonable conversation where you're saying something, I'm responding, I'm saying something, you're responding. Everyone has this option available to them. I'm not opposed to having reasonable conversations with people. What I am opposed to is people lying about me and expecting me not to respond. I will respond if I feel like it. If they don't like it, they can either have their feelings or they can do a stream, in which I will do a meta reaction stream if I'm available to do it, just like I did today. And we can either continue to have this back and forth, or we can do probably the smart thing and go focus on things that actually matter and make a difference in the real world. The reason that these people are so pissed that I got to the nomination for governor and they weren't even aware that this was happening is because they are not involved in things in the real world. And the way I was able to get that nomination was because I am involved in things in the real world. I would strongly recommend that everyone go and focus on things that actually matter. And if we can all do that, then there is no reason at all for this back and forth.
I believe that maybe that's just my personal opinion, and maybe the democracy that is driving the LP disagrees with me. And maybe that's a failure of democracy, potentially, because one of us is right and a lot of people might be wrong. But I believe that one of the key components of restoring the Libertarian Party is to remove 100% of the cringe out of it. In fact, to write a contract where anyone that engages in activities that would be detrimental to the image of the LP would lose their position, would just become a normal donating member,
Well,
and
that's
not be
not
a
going to
nominee or
work.
anything else.
Well, that's not going to work because we literally just changed the Libertarian Party platform to say that words are not violence. We are allowed to say whatever we want. In the Libertarian Party, no one tells anyone else what they can and cannot say. No one tells anyone else what content they can and cannot make on the internet. And now it is explicitly a part of our party platform that words are not violence. And so I think
Words
that
are not
if
violence.
you, yes, exactly. If you
But,
really
but
think that
words
me
can be
using words,
reprehensible, though.
so what? We also took out the part of the party platform where it said bigotry is we condemn bigotry as
No, I
irrational and
understand.
repugnant.
Bigotry is not something that the party should deal with. The bigotry is dealt right now. Bigotry is dealt by making videos where you say that this person, his comment is, or their comment is not based on reality, where the person is lying, the person is smearing. If they're smearing a whole group of people, that's what's called bigotry. The
Most
LP should
libertarians
not be
don't
the
believe in
deciding
defamation.
factor what is bigotry or not. That's why it was removed. However,
Right.
that doesn't mean that the Libertarian Party leadership should endorse just everyone saying anything.
Well,
for example, if Wash decides to join the LP, I would say no, because of all of the disgustingly ugly things that Wash has done and said in the past. He is a persona non grata in the LP. And if the LP doesn't recognize the concept of persona non grata and why there should be a vote about allowing people that have odious reputations from joining the party.
There was a vote. There was a vote. It was at the state convention in January. There was a literal vote. I had to get voted on to be the nominee for governor. There was a literal vote.
There was a vote, and maybe that vote is a commentary on the efficiency of voting. If I'm right, because I might be entirely wrong about you. I'm accepting that.
Yeah, I would say that, and I would say that if you have the expectation that the Libertarian Party is going to police speech of its members, then I join the party, come to New Hampshire, try to make that case.
If a member advocates for
maybe
communism,
you can.
If a member advocates for communism or socialism,
there are members who advocate for communism.
Yes, and that's a mistake by the Libertarian Party to keep them in the party.
I guess we disagree fundamentally. We believe that people should be able to live in communist societies if they want to, and if they're not forcing anyone else to do anything. If Vermont wants to become a little communist utopia, Vermont is free to do that as long as they are not forcing anyone to do anything, and as long as it's all voluntary. So I have to say, I don't really think you sound like a libertarian if you're talking about forcing people to say the words you want them to say and to live in the way that you want them to live. I think we have a fundamental disagreement here, and I don't think your strategy would play well in New Hampshire.
No, I'm talking
but if you
about
really care about who the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire nominates, then, move to New Hampshire and give it a try and see how it goes.
I care about people who advocate using state power to advance their communist ideas. And specifically when people do that, when people use utilitarianism to justify their position, when people don't have actual principles, and that is the main problem of the party. That's what allowed the sort of a pragmatic quote-unquote movement to even exist, because there was no foundation, because everything was allowed. Because one day a person could say libertarianism is all about complete and total chaos, where everybody just does whatever they want and there's no judgment. And other people who said, no, read the source material, read Rothbard, read Mises, read Hoppe, read Kinsella, read the Mises Caucus that's connected to the Mises Institute, read some of the literature before you claim to be a libertarian. The fact that they accept people who have not done all of this reading, who do not engage with the actual ideology, is concerning. Now, if those people are just voting, donating members, there's no issue there, not a big issue at least. But as soon as they start voting on major things, then it will become an issue, because that's how a party gets corrupted. So you're building, if I'm right, this is a building on shaky sand. Obviously, I understand we disagree on the facts. So that's why I hope that the people who claim that whatever happened in this video was happening from your side as well, if that claim gets proven by just linking two videos together, I think that that's where the conversation should resume, potentially.
Well, I think that you're going to have a hard time doing that because, as I've said, I don't make videos where I go and watch hours and hours and hours of someone's content and then clip them all together out of context to drive a narrative. I do absolutely everything live. And we can, if you guys want to try to make the claim that I do otherwise, then best of luck to you. And if you want to try to change the Libertarian Party to make them believe that words are violence or words that you don't like are violence, I guess best of luck to you. Give it a shot. I don't think that's going to go well for you.
That's not my position.
I also don't think that people should be required to read 12 economics books upon joining the Libertarian Party. And even
Read one.
Even Karen Ann Harlos, who is the current secretary of the Libertarian Party, says that we should be welcoming all people, even if they only agree with us on a couple of issues, because we can work together on the. But that is a person who is quite literally in a leadership position for the Libertarian Party, has been voted into that position. She's been voted into that position several times. She was voted into it at the National Convention. And again, if you don't like it, then get involved. But if you are not going to be involved, then stop complaining about what the party does with the people who are involved.
That's a legitimate answer, that we should get involved for sure.
Yeah, but give it a try.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I do want to thank you for remaining civil in the conversation. And I just think it is a great demonstration that people who disagree can come together and have a civil conversation, even if we don't end up agreeing at the end of the day. And so I appreciate that you kind of kept your cool.
You should find a neutral platform that's either an ally to both or an enemy to both, to speak to some of your opponents.
I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I'm just not interested.
Because that's an actual debate. A debate is not where
I don't participate in debates. I don't participate in debates. I don't do them. I don't think they change. I don't. Well, I'm sorry. And I'm really sorry to disappoint you guys. I think they're a waste of time. I don't think anyone changes their minds. I think it's just about clickbait content on the internet.
Debates are not about changing your mind.
That's exactly right. So why would I participate?
Debates are about watching who under pressure caves, and allowing it's about trying to see whether a person truly understands what they're talking about and whether they can defend their position.
Well, my actions over the last 2 years have demonstrated quite clearly that I know what I'm talking about. The book I've written demonstrates that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not interested in trying to convince people who have no interest in interested in winning over internet fanboys. I'm sorry. It's just not something.
It's not internet fanboys.
I'm doing is making change and working with people in the real world and helping them to understand what's going on around them.
This is a separate point. If you don't want to participate in online blood sports, you can just quit the blood sports entirely. That's your choice. You can just be a normal
or just not participate. Like I'm allowed to have a YouTube channel without participating in your blood sports.
I do implore you to participate in policy debates as a libertarian from time to time.
I do, in New Hampshire, in person. I did last week. I was at Pork Fest all last week. I went to all sorts of things all last week. I do them in person. I don't think that this medium is productive. I don't think that Twitter is productive. I don't think that YouTube is productive.
I would love to see a recording of you debating someone.
Well, you're in luck then, because I actually debated last week as the Libertarian nominee for governor. I debated Karen Testerman, who is a Republican that's running for governor in New Hampshire. I debated her on the main stage at Pork Fest. There will be a video coming out. I'm not sure when. A
Republican is a weak opponent. You need to debate a right libertarian.
Well, then you have to take it up with the organizer of Pork Fest then, who asked me to participate in this debate on the main stage at Pork Fest. So if you don't, but you said you wanted to see. I completely agree with you that Republicans are weak, but you said you wanted to see a video because I was asked to by the Pork Fest organizer.
Debate somebody who understands theory.
I was asked to by the libertarian who organizes the greatest libertarian festival in the world. I was asked to participate, and so I did. And to bless your wish, a video will be coming out soon of my participation in that debate.
You know, there are many videos of people like Ben Shapiro from the conservative movement, right? Who debate a bunch of college students, debate weak politicians.
I don't want to do that.
You absolutely should not want to do that, because you want to debate people who are at least within your ideology.
I don't want to debate anyone. I don't care about debating anyone. I care about working with people who are trying to understand what the woke ideology is. Because I do it in person.
What is your compass?
What have I accomplished? I got a bill passed in New Hampshire. I wrote a book. I have educated.
What is your guiding Northern Star?
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
No,
What
I'm
is my
sorry.
guiding moral star? That is a great question. I want to create a society that is based on individualism and meritocracy and has a colorblind or color indifferent view of the world, which is that we do not judge people by the color of their skin. That is what I'm working on. I want to create a society in which we are not relying on the government for public education. I want to create a society in which people understand how empowered they really are. I want to create a society in which no one is afraid of being called a racist just because they have a different
These
political
are great
opinion.
goals, but
None
this
of
is
these
not
things can be
debates.
accomplished, but you're right, they're not debates. And because I do not believe that debating people on the internet is
No,
going to lead
base.
to, well,
These
what
are
do you
all
mean?
goals that we just share. Everybody in the
Yeah.
chat, everybody who's listening, probably share those goals. These
I
are
don't think
we're for
people do
everything that's
share
good.
those goals. I actually believe this in the real world, and I take action to back up those goals. I think the people that debate in the chats that you are participating in and who participated in that video, they don't believe in those goals at all. All they want is blood sports and drama. They
My
don't do
response to that
anything of
video was
substance
just to
in the real
verify the
world.
facts. I don't know
And
whether that
we
video is
verified
true
that they were
or not.
lies.
I would I'm the video was released a few hours ago. I'm
Yeah.
in the process of verifying all the facts.
All
And
right.
I noticed that you were broadcasting, so I
But
came on to talk to you
but
directly.
like here's the question I would ask. It's like, if that's what you want to do, again, I have absolutely no worry that you are not going to find what you're looking for. So I'm not worried about it from that perspective. But why would you spend hours and hours and hours of your life on a clickbait trash video on the internet when you could instead go out into the real world and work with real people to try to create real change and do real activism? Go get a bill passed, go start a parents group,
Because
go help people that are
because
trying to
lying
figure out what's
politicians
going
are a
on.
pox on the country, and I don't care if they're within my party. So, which means that if I accuse you of lying, then yes, and I spend several hours, if I spend several days finding out whether you have lied or not, and a video gets released that showcases that fact with enough clipping, with enough
With
source
enough clipping, that's
material,
exactly right. That's
with
exactly
enough
what would be
with
required,
enough with
clipping.
enough
That's exactly
reference
right.
to the full length source material besides any clipping, with enough, or perhaps with the entire, maybe we should compile a 10-hour video with timestamps that is compiled out of
Go
whole
for it.
streams, just so there's no editing involved if that's a
for it.
problem.
Go
The
for it.
reason
Please
why it
do
needs to
so.
be done, the reason why it needs to be done is because you cannot build on a foundation of somebody that lies about other people. If you're not one of those persons, you have nothing to worry about. But if you
I have nothing to worry about.
but if you
I feel
have,
fully confident that I have nothing to worry about.
if you have never lied or misrepresented another person's opinion,
No,
I'm not confident of
well,
that.
I don't believe that I have. I don't believe that I have at all. If you think that I have, present the evidence. But as you said, present the full context of the evidence. And if you aren't willing to
Absolutely, that's
present
how
the
it's
full
done.
context,
The way it has to be done is so that there is no way for you to twist it around to say it was clipped out of context, like all the
But it
leftists
kind
are
of
doing
seems
to
to
Project
me,
Veritas.
well, it kind of seems to me like you're trying to build a case against me, though, which means you might be engaging in confirmation bias. Now, if you want to go, and again, I have no actual worry that you're going to be able to do what you say you're doing. So go to town, waste all your time doing it. I don't really care. I'm going to keep focusing on doing the things in the real world that I'm doing, because I think that that is a much better use of energy. And I think it would be a much better use of energy for you. I think it'd be a much better use of energy for a hypocrite. I think it'd be a much better use of energy for everyone involved if we focused on actually making change in the real world rather than creating nonsense
Yes,
on the internet.
change
But
starts from a strong
I
moral
can't
foundation.
control if you want to spend your time on nonsense. That is your decision.
It's not nonsense. It's people should have
We
strong
disagree.
moral foundation and an honest relationship with the truth. They should be able to say, "I wronged the person and I regret that," and actually ask an apology. And their party should be mature enough to give them that apology. But it should not be a case. There
I
are two
don't think
extremes.
you're
There are
going
two
to get an
extremes.
apology
They are
from the Libertarian Party of
they
New
are-
Hampshire. So
they
I'm
are
sorry. I just
they
don't
are
think
the
that's going to
yes,
happen.
that's a tragedy as well. There are
It's
Democrats
not, though. You don't live in New
who do not
Hampshire and you're
accept.
not a libertarian.
There,
You're not
there
a
are
libertarian.
Democrats.
You don't live in New Hampshire and you're demanding an apology from the Libertarian
The
Party of New
woke
Hampshire because
Democrats
they
are
chose to nominate
canceling
me for
people.
governor. Are you
No,
serious?
the woke Democrats are canceling people, and the way they do so is they ask for an apology without actually intending to accept it ever. Therefore, nobody can honestly apologize about anything because and so
I would
people
absolutely
continue.
accept an apology from Carrie Smith every single day. I would love an apology from Carrie Smith. I would love an apology for the lies that she's told about me. I would love an apology from Mike Harlow. I would accept it in a second. I would love an apology from the Queen from England. I would accept it in a second. I would accept an apology from any single one of the people who've spewed lies and bullshit and nonsense and doxed my friends and harassed my friends and tried tried to destroy the careers of my friends and put photos of my house on the internet and have harassed my supporters, have harassed my friends in New Hampshire, have harassed people in the Libertarian Party, I would accept an apology from every single one of those people.
Harassed.
Yes.
Sounds like the same similar word to bigotry.
No. When people are actually going and privately
have you filed a
messaging
criminal
people,
report?
I have.
Okay, that's true harassment.
I have filed a criminal report against Kieran White in the UK for what he has done to me and the amount of bullshit that he has put me through. There is a criminal report in Surrey in the UK about all of this.
Great.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I think we've
and just to be really clear, the reason I filed the criminal report is because Kieran doxed a friend of mine. He doxed a friend of mine on the internet and then actively tried to destroy his career. That was the thing that led to me filing a criminal report, just for posterity.
This will happen to every single politician. If they have any skeletons in the closet, those skeletons come out during the election campaign as soon as they become a threat.
Well, it seems like you guys are trying to sabotage people on your own side, or who you claim to be on the side of, which is why I don't actually believe that you guys are anything but woke leftists.
is not on your side or my side.
They are actually on my side. This is actually provably true. They are actually on my side. I'm a nominee of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, and the Libertarian National Party completely supports my campaign. So yes, they are in fact on my side. They gave us $5,000 in cash like a couple weeks ago in order to complete petitioning. This is all public on the internet. You can go to the Libertarian Party YouTube page and see that they granted our request for money to pay petitioners so that we could finish petitioning in New Hampshire to get our names on the ballot.
Are they human?
Yes.
And does that mean that they can occasionally err if they don't possess all the facts?
Well, it was an overwhelming vote of support. And if you guys think that you were the first ones to try to derail this, you are wrong. There are people in the party that have tried and they have failed admirably, and they will continue to fail. But as I said, you're claiming that the Libertarian Party doesn't support me. That is provably wrong. That is provably inaccurate right now. Just go to their YouTube channel. It's on their YouTube channel.
You're right. That was my initial. I reacted. I can admit I reacted in shock, but I did confirm from your words, and I confirmed from various Twitter accounts that you are officially supported, receiving funding from them. That's the extent of what I managed to confirm. The other allegations I have not managed to confirm because you're right. It requires quite a bit of time to actually watch what a person said within context. And then, I'm not a person that would post on Twitter or anywhere else any information that I have not personally verified from at least two sources, and I have access to the raw data. I would not do that to another human being because I don't believe
that sounds like a really principled position.
False allegations.
That sounds like a really principled position, and I would encourage you to, if you want to. And again, I don't think it's a good use of time, but if you want to go and watch the multiple dozens of hours of streams that I've done about this, go to town. But look at the full breadth of evidence, and then you decide. Because I've done entire streams about this. As they said, a 7-hour stream about Adam. I've done several streams about Carrie. I will never do a stream about Mike Carlo.
I don't really know any of those.
Well, again, people. It's all on my channel. So you're saying that you're the one saying that you want to go and verify the evidence. It's all available. Everything that I've done and said has been public, and so you're welcome to do so.
Do you stand behind every tweet where you link to a video of another person that represented them?
Do I stand behind every? Well, I stand. Yeah, I mean, yes.
When
I stand behind
every tweet. When you tweet a video
yeah.
of a person, do you stand behind that tweet? A tweet that then gets retweeted by members of the LP?
Well, are you referring to something specific?
Yes, but
or
I have not.
General?
I have something specific in mind. What
is it?
I managed to speak to you about an hour into investigating this, so I will find out. I'm just.
What is the tweet that you're referring to specifically?
You have referenced another woman that engages with the school issue, and you've tweeted about her.
Which one? What is your issue or question?
I'm not ready to unveil. Names
you can't. You're asking me if I stand behind a tweet, and you won't tell me what that tweet is. Can you? It's public on the internet.
Yeah, you might find it amusing, but I'm literally at the start of this. I just noticed that you're online live, and I decided to ask you some questions to get a sort of a different bias. Now I have the bias from my initial response, I have it from talking to you and your arguments. And so now I believe that if I'm going to review this information, I will be perhaps not objective, but I would have those two angles in mind.
Well, I'm glad that you admitted live on the internet that you are not being objective in what you're trying to do, and don't think I'm not going to
No,
put this in my back pocket for later.
no, objectivity. There is objectivity of the truth that we're trying to discover, but people are subjective in nature. So I think anyone that claims to
Hey,
be
as long as you're admitting that you're
objective.
not being objective, I think that I agree. You're not being objective. Like
Objectivity is
if you
something
want me
that
to
you
say that I stand
pursue.
behind a tweet and then you won't tell me what that tweet is and it's like a mystery, like I don't know how to help you. I stand behind every tweet I sent, I guess, but
No,
like I don't
that's
know
fine.
specifically what you're
That's fine.
referring to. So
There's no George Jorgensen moment where somebody from the party controls your account. It's just you.
yes, it is just me.
Excellent. That's great.
Do you have any other questions?
No, absolutely not. Thank you.
Are you going to waste a metric ton of time trying to expose me?
No, all I have to do is to the tweet that was named to me. I have to go look it up. I have to pull it up, and I have to go to the stream of the person being quoted and see if they were quoted fairly, and what
Yeah,
was the
go to town.
consequence of that.
Go to town.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
No, take care.
All right. Well, that was an interesting experience, I suppose. I can't wait to find out what tweet he thinks I don't stand behind and took out of context. I guess we'll see. But if like, listen, man, like, why these people are wasting so much time attacking me? Do you guys not have lives? Do you guys not have bigger things to do in your life? I don't know. I think I was pretty successful in proving that I, Hypocrite, is in fact a raging hypocrite and a coward on this stream. So I'm pretty thrilled with that. Guys, if you have questions about any of the topics we've touched on today, I promise you, I have previously covered them on my channel. I have previously covered the anti-white comments. I have previously talked about my spiritual beliefs and why, yes, I do believe that that guy is in that place that starts with an H. I do believe everyone goes to heaven because I don't believe there is a hell and I don't believe there's anywhere else for us to go. And I believe that God loves everyone unconditionally. I've talked about that. I have repeatedly shown evidence that the people that I talk about are doing exactly and precisely what I say they're doing. And it's all the same group of people. Every single time, it is all the same group of people. And you know who's at the direct center of it? Carrie fucking Smith. At the direct center of everything. She was on the stream today. She was in the chat today. All of her little minions were gathering around. I'm sure they're all ring about me on Twitter. Whatever. It makes no difference to me.